Fala pessoal, de boa, continuando a nossa gameplay do Starfield e também seguindo em frente aqui com a história principal. Estamos indo ali para localização e vamos lá.
Ah, yes. They build a monument to the people they lost, but not the people they killed.
When someone insults you...
Keeper Aquilus, can we have a moment?
Oh, Mateo. It's been too long. How are your parents? Your mother still struggling with that azalea garden?
No, she figured that out a while ago. Had to adjust the pH levels in the soil. But, Keeper, I didn't come to catch up.
Oh. Well, what's on both your minds? Oh. Yeah. How humanity comes together. How we are to love each other even as our universe becomes even more complex.
That's not exactly what we mean. Keeper, when you talk about unity, well, does it mean anything else? Something secret?
Perhaps you should talk about this inside.
Beleza, então a gente precisa entrar ali pro santuário para conversar com ele. Vamos lá.
Now that we have a little privacy, why don't you tell me exactly what it is that brought you two here?
They're like nothing we've ever seen, Keeper. Gravitational distortion, sub-audio harmonic sequencing, unidentifiable energy fluctuations.
I caught half of that. So, these things are unusual? Even in your experience? There have always been mysteries that seem to defy our understanding of the universe. Beyond rational thought. We enter life as an act of someone else's faith in us. There's no way of knowing who we will become, and yet the risk is made anyway. So you've pushed into the unknown, not knowing where it would take you. And it's brought you here. I think I can. If you're willing to find your way in the dark for a bit longer, I can give you a path to discovering its meaning. There's an old story, far older than the Sanctum Universum, of someone who walked the settled systems and saw every corner of it. This pilgrim claimed he found the true meaning of unity. I always thought of it as just a parable for trying to bring humanity together, but maybe it's more. In my story, the pilgrim met the founders of the House of Enlightenment and the enigmatic cult of the Varun, and he gave them each a part of the truth. Then he goes to his final resting place to live out the rest of his days in contemplation of infinitum addendum, his addition or contribution to the infinite. But what if the story isn't a metaphor, but a code, a way of finding the pilgrim again, or at least his grave? Yes, something must be there. I just can't put my finger on it. Maybe the answer will become clear when we have more. The House of Enlightenment and Varun have versions of this story. The Enlightened work out of the well here in New Atlantis, helping the poorest citizens find a better life for themselves. Varun worshippers are more enigmatic, but there is a lone zealot that was captured recently for attacking UC ships. I visited her a couple of times. Hopefully she'll be willing to talk to you as well.
I'll stay here with the Keeper. We need to catch up. And I wouldn't mind asking him a few more questions.
Beleza, então a gente tem ali duas pessoas para conversar, então é só você sair ali pro lado da cidade e ir seguindo o ponto até a localização ali para entrar no diálogo com a pessoa.
A visitor?
I have all the company I need. He knows not the truth. He sends another to ask more incessant questions. The great serpent waits in the shadows. He will entwine the universe, and all but the faithful will be made as dust. That is the truth. No more, no less. Yes, I have spoken to your keeper about this. I will tell you what I told him, and then you will leave me. Jinan Varun meets the unbeliever. He gives false prophecy to Jinan. But such is Jinan's conviction in the great serpent, he does not hesitate. He cuts the unbeliever down. But the unbeliever returns. Jinan realizes the great serpent is testing him, and he will not be found wanting. 4 times they fight. Over 120 rotations of the planet they are on. Remember these 4 battles, Jinan, the unbeliever says. Remember these 120 rotations. But Jinan knows this is blasphemy, and delivers the killing blow. That is all. I have heard of no such thing. If it exists, it is a shadow that the great serpent casts to deceive the faithless. Then we are done. Leave me.
Beleza, de uma delas a gente já obteve ali as respostas. E aí, né, como padrão, a gente foi ali em direção à segunda para perguntar para ele também.
There's a lot of work that needs to be done in the well. A lot of people in need. If it's about the financial or food assistance programs, we are backlogged. Don't worry, we're doing everything we can. Oh, we're not? Sorry. Can I help you? Listen, I've talked about this with him a ton of times, and there's no record of a Unity pilgrim. But since you both insist, our early records are mostly administrative. Humanitarian projects, group counseling notes, charity expenditures. But there is a series of exchanges the founding members recorded in a lot of detail. It's the closest thing I have to what Aquilus is describing. Yeah, I mean, he's always going on about trying to bring people of all beliefs together. Really wants there to be some shared story or origin. Look, I like the Keeper, but belief is the problem, okay? We don't need a shared narrative or theology. We need to help each other in practical terms. A man walks into the first house of enlightenment. The founding members just call him the Drifter. So they think he's a charity case at first, but no, the Drifter asks them a bunch of questions. If your philosophy is built on an individual's own morality, what about the second person? That second person might disagree. Isn't the problem of 2 what you're really looking for? And the founders respond, each individual must understand how the second person lifts them up. All of human effort is a story of cooperation pushing us forward. And it kind of goes on like that. He comes back every week for a year. Same conversation every time. Second person this, the problem of 2 that. It's part of our core principles. There's no God pushing us to do good for some eternal reward. We have to help each other because we choose to. If no one takes responsibility for making the settled systems better, then we're just leaving it to the tyrants to bully the rest of us. Honestly, I think the founding members made it all up. There was a little more hesitation being openly atheist in the early days. I think they were experimenting with writing their own scripture. Fortunately, that got abandoned pretty quick. After the records of the Drifter end, you never see anything like it again. Besides what the Keeper would say about it, sounds like a gathering point, or a center. Or in mathematics it would mean 1, like the one, the first or the beginning. Always happy to help. If you'll excuse me, I've got a lot of aid efforts to coordinate.
Beleza, então vamos voltar lá no santuário agora pra gente colocar tudo em ordem e ver no que vai dar.
Well, you're back. What did you learn? Was there something hidden in their stories, like we thought? Planets are often named by number. That second might mean the second planet in the system. What else did you learn? If there really is a location the Pilgrim wanted us to find, those do sound awfully like coordinates. Was there anything else? Yes. What he added to infinity. Maybe that points to a name. If we're looking for his resting place, we'd need to know the name of the star system, wouldn't we? Let's see. We have something that could be coordinates. Something that could point to a planet in the system. But what's the name of the system? Infinitum addendum. What if we break down the parts? No systems named finite or add. That just leaves in and dumb. Well, that's certainly how I feel. Well, I suppose that'll make someone laugh. Yes, that's it. The second planet in Indum, at 4 and 120. That's where you'll find the Pilgrim's resting place. And from there, maybe you'll find the true meaning of unity. Before you go, you've now spoken to many different perspectives in our universe. In a way, you'll be carrying their philosophies with you on this journey. I know you're looking for a specific unity, but if you had to guess what it was, what interpretation would you give it? Ah, but what makes something like that holy? Gravity is also a force that brings things together. Should that be sanctified? And so you think this word unity describes a similar miracle? The processes of the universe are all in accordance with some greater intent. Well, I won't keep you any longer. This has been fun, I have to admit. Go, find your truth.
Beleza, com isso a gente tem uma localização marcada lá no mapa. É um sistema que a gente vai ter que ir ali para encontrar essa casa aonde o peregrino ficou, tá? E possivelmente iremos encontrar as nossas respostas lá também. Bom, vamos dar uma olhadinha no mapa aqui, né? Eu vou definir a rota ali pela própria missão, é mais rápido. E aí a gente precisa fazer uma dobra pra lá. Tranquilo? É aqui perto mesmo, já ajuda bastante aí na hora da gente, né, ir pra lá.
Nice jump. That is a shame. Right on target. I would like to have understood the specific etymology of those words. Ah, well, I don't think that's necessary, Andreja.
Beleza, vamos dar uma olhadinha no mapa aqui agora. Oh, errei, calma. Era pra mostrar o planeta mesmo. Cadê? Ó, descanso do peregrino ali, ó. Beleza. Então vamos pousar lá.
Good to go for landing.
Aí aquele famoso padrão, a gente vai sair ali pro planeta. Só ir na direção da missão, ó. Já tá marcado pra gente aí.
How can I be of service, Captain?
Deixa eu olhar ao redor aqui que eu me perdi um pouquinho. Pera aí, tava olhando pro Vasco ali. Opa, tá. Só caminhar nessa direção que a gente vai encontrar aí, ó. Esta localização aqui. Descanso do peregrino. Tá. Vamos revirar a situação aqui. Ah, tem um livro, tá? Pra gente ler. Esse é o 2, mas eu vou deixar um pouco na tela. Quem quiser dar uma lida com bastante calma, é só ir pausando o vídeo, beleza? Como esse daqui é o texto 2, possivelmente a gente vai encontrar mais ali nessa casa aqui, né? Mas, primeiramente, vamos dando um rolezinho direitinho aí pra olhar tudo. Se tiver algum de bom também pra gente levar, a gente já aproveita aí e leva. Ó, aqui a gente tem o texto 4. E aqui é o 3, beleza. O 1 deve estar dentro da casa lá, mas de boa. Vamos pelo 3 agora. Aí, como padrão, agora é só fazer a leitura do quarto que tá aqui do lado, né? Mesma coisa dos outros, tá? Quem quiser dar uma lida com calma é só pausar o vídeo. E aí a gente precisa continuar explorando a área aqui para encontrar mais desses livros aí e pistas também, né, sobre as possíveis respostas que a gente pode obter. Mas bem interessante isso daqui, hein? É, pra lá eu fiz tudo, né? Se eu não tô enganado, é isso mesmo. Deixa eu só ter certeza. É. O jeito vai ser entrar na casa agora. Beleza. Só dando aquela conferida, né, mano? Porque não gosto de deixar a coisa pra trás, não. Pra lá, aparentemente, não tem nada. Agora a gente chegou aqui na casa. Dando só uma olhadinha na situação aqui, beleza? Danada. Levo também, é bom. Depois qualquer coisa eu vendo. Opa! E esse aqui é o texto 1. Legal. Beleza, já vi um computador ali do lado. Possivelmente a gente vai ter que entrar nele. Ó, tem o texto 5 aqui. Esse é bem grandinho. E tá bom, né? Por enquanto a gente entendeu aí a situação do cara, né, mano? E bora lá no computador aqui pra gente acessar ali o quarto. Eita, tem logo as respostas. O que é Concórdia? Eu vou nela, né, mano? Espero que seja isso. Qual é o fardo? primeiro. Quem é seu oponente formidável? Basicamente tu mesmo. Duradouro. Deixa eu ver aqui. Eu acho que é a última opção. É basicamente isso mesmo. E é isso aí. Passamos então pela tranca ali da porta, né? Que era esse computador. Agora a gente pode acessar a parte de dentro. E aí a gente vai encontrar a resposta que ele acabou chegando, tá? E como ele mesmo disse, essa resposta serve para ele mesmo, tá? Que é o peregrino, então o peregrino encontrou a sua resposta para ele. Porém, não quer dizer que a nossa resposta para o problema seja a mesma que a dele, tá? Tem esse detalhe aí também. Então é algo interpretativo, né? Cada um vai ver de um jeito. E também responder ali de formas diferentes. Beleza, né? Então, aparentemente, do momento aqui, a gente já não tem mais nada pra fazer aqui nessa área. Mas bem legal aí que a gente conheceu bem da história ali do peregrino, né, mano? Então, muito interessante, porque aparentemente ele também é um estelar. Só que aí é aquilo, né, velho? Ele chegou na tua resposta e, mano, era isso aí, né?
Achieving orbit now.
E bora. Ih, rapaz, eu não tenho lá liberado. Eu vou ter que ir pra essa localização aqui primeiro, dobrar pra cá e depois dobrar pra lá. Rapaz, já cheguei aqui, já tem uma penca de nego ali pra querer me matar, tá ligado? Nave inimiga, mano. E eu não tô afim de enfrentar tudo isso daí junto, não. Por esse motivo, mano, já vou aproveitar ali rapidão, tá ligado? E já pular ali, ó, direto pra onde é a missão. Porque agora eu já posso fazer a dobra pra lá. Antes que eles cheguem aqui. Ó o tanto de marcação ali no mapa, mano. Tá maluco? Enfrentar isso aí não, mano. Vai dar é merda. E é isso aí, recebemos até mais uma conquista ali, muito bom. Já estamos na localização ali do escorpião, né? Abri até o bagulho de missão ali errado, mas beleza. Vamos só escanear a área, padrão. Vamos pousar no planeta.
Landing struts primed, retros firing.
Padrão, né? A gente sai, olha ao redor. A marcação da missão tá nessa direção, então é só caminhar. Até lá agora não tem muito segredo pra gente aqui.
What does your scanner statue? Clearly some connection to the creatures in the area.
Rapaz, tem uns escorpião ali, mano. E aí? Ué, ele tá caminhando pra lá? Deixa eu ver, ele não ataca não? Eu fiquei com medo deles atacar. Ué, parece que ele tá me guiando, mano. É isso mesmo, parece que ele tá me guiando pro bagulho, ó, que louco. Que da hora, hein, mano. Que legal, velho. Bom, a gente precisa aparentemente resolver um puzzle aqui, né, mano? Deixa eu entender a situação, como é que é aqui. Ah, a luz ali do fundo vai mexendo. Será que é naquele pontinho final ali? E não é que deu bom? Rapaz, nunca mais, viu? Nunca mais, é o que dá pra dizer. Beleza. Então a gente precisa voltar pra nave e ir pra próxima localização ali também do escorpião, ó. Legal. Bora lá. Decolar mais uma vez.
Time to leave this place behind. Aim point reached. Orbit stable.
Vamos abrir o mapa aqui também da missão, né? Eu acho que é melhor, que aí já define rota diretão. É isso aí, ó. Beleza, a gente tem que fazer uma dobra pra lá. Ó o guardião aí, ó. Ih, rapaz, agora eu já iniciei a dobra, mano. Cancelo não, filho.
Grav drive spinning down. Systems green.
It can't be. You found me. I knew I made the right choice in letting you go. Oh, please. Did you think I couldn't have found you again? Extinguished that little spark of competition for the artifacts before it grew stronger. I wanted to see what you would do, and I haven't been disappointed. You did. Now it's all starting to make sense. You should come aboard. There's another Starborn here who is very interested in meeting you.
I can speak for myself. Constellation ship, you weren't invited to this meeting, but much of our conversation has been about you. It's only fitting you should join us. I will personally guarantee your safety as long as you come in peace.
And think of it as a ceasefire meeting. Your one shot at getting those answers you must desperately want. Let's just say they're very dedicated to stopping me from getting the artifacts. So if you don't trust me, well, they're your next best bet.
I know your encounters with our kind have not been pleasant, but we are here to talk, and you deserve answers.
Not a bad description, actually.
We'll explain when we meet. In person.
Good. See? We can all get along. For now.
Beleza, então vamos lá. Existem dois estelares ali, meio que líderes, um de cada facção, pelo que deu pra entender até o momento, tá? E a gente vai acoplar ali na nave deles e trocar uma ideia, né, mano? Vamos ver no que isso daqui vai dar também.
Alright, let's cycle that airlock and get aboard.
Hello. Again. You remember the emissary, perhaps? And their ship, the Helix? I believe they ambushed you above Neon and demanded that artifact you worked so hard to gain.
Thank you for the stellar introduction. Your success is unprecedented. Before you came, we were just discussing how continued use of force against you is unwise. Yes, we did. We are not a monolithic people. The Starborn are individuals. Some are united in cause. Others are in it for themselves.
We're all in it for ourselves. Some of us are just more honest. The emissary threatened your ship, demanded you hand over your artifact. How is that so different from what I did?
We needed to warn you off. Every encounter with one of our kind could spell disaster.
For whom, exactly? I say whoever can collect them should. Yes. Let's talk about what really matters.
The Unity. You are on the path to it. It is a place, a gateway. It is where we were reborn.
Not a relatively expendable Dusty anymore, are you? Look at where you've ended up. I'm not who you think I am. This universe is only the first one you've been to. I've seen hundreds. Where I came from, I was the one who ran to the Eye. I left you behind to protect the artifacts, and the Hunter killed you.
One of me, at least.
I collected the remaining artifacts, and they opened the way to the center of my universe, and the doorway to an infinite number of others. That is the Unity. When I stepped into it, I became a Starborn. It's how I've entered other worlds, including yours. They are all connected. I have to. This is bigger than all of us. All the artifacts are needed to complete the armillary and open the way to the Unity. In every universe, the Starborn fight over them. Innocent people die. You've witnessed the power granted by the temples, the anarchy that can be unleashed. Someone has to decide who should get them.
Here it comes. The emissary tells you only the worthy should enter heaven.
You're twisting what I mean.
They're hypocrites. They use the chaos caused by the hunt for the artifacts to establish an order where they decide who's worthy. I attacked your lodge because I wanted the artifacts, and you held me off. You got away. That wasn't some morality play. You didn't survive because of righteousness. You won because of persistence, luck, and skill. As I have done countless times.
I was also human once. But what does it matter who or what I was when eternity is within your grasp? It means I've seen thousands of universes, collected their artifacts, been to their temples. You have a small taste of their power, but it keeps going. You're learning. My other self wants you to walk the path he walks, to give up,
to appreciate the universe you have. Easy for a person who's seen everything, done everything. I think you should see it for yourself.
You've never come this far. Not in all the universes I've seen. The path to the Unity is opening to you.
You're going to tip the scales one way or another. Better your hand be on one of our sides.
You're already in it. With artifacts comes Starborn searching for them, fighting over them. I want a truce between all three of us. Give you some time to think over which approach to the Unity is the one you want. Mine or the Hunters?
Yes. Let's see how willing you are to live under someone else's rules. Just remember, one of us isn't trying to judge you.
I know we're not. Sure you have more questions. Ask. When all the artifacts are assembled, the device they create is called the Armillary. In many ways, it's a model of the multiverse itself. Through it, you can reach the Unity. And from there, you can become Starborn. You've seen the terror the Hunter causes. Every time a Starborn goes through the Unity, they get more artifacts, find more temples, gain more power. We can't let more like him abuse these gifts to destroy whatever's in their way. Different? I never know who you are when I meet a new version. But so much of you stays the same. It's hard, but each universe is precious in its own way. Mine will never have its original you in it again, as yours won't have its real me. It's not an easy experience to describe, but the Unity will speak to you, offer you the chance to become Starborn. You will be leaving this universe behind to be reborn. Everything you were before will be gone. Maybe that's why it offers the choice. Compassion, or is it testing us?
The emissary and their kind only want to control you. You might think the emissary is on your side, but your persistence is what forced them to tell you the truth. Remember that. They enter the Unity, take artifacts from others, employ force. All the things I do. I am many things, but I would never tell anyone what to do with their gifts. That is your decision, not someone else's. The emissary wants to become the judge of who gets to enter, but the Unity itself doesn't judge. To see what would happen, of course. You might not understand just how many times I've done this. Usually, you're the one who ends up dead, and whoever cries over your body goes on to become the emissary. Sometimes I manage to get you all bunched up and take care of the problem in one go. Sometimes the emissary has gotten to me first, and I never arrive. Hundreds and hundreds of variations of me, packing through Constellation. And it's almost never you. You making it to your ship on your own. It's new. I took it as a sign. I don't get many of those anymore. I've simply found that it's the quickest way. Talking, forming alliances, waiting for the right moment to commit theft. It's all so tiresome. I'll admit, you getting away has been the most interesting thing to happen in quite some time. As soon as I realized what had happened, I knew I needed to wait until this meeting with the emissary to decide what to do about you. No, we always end up having this meeting at this time. But it's the usual affair. Can we make peace? No. Oh, how tragic. Honestly, I was beginning to wonder why I kept attending. And it's a bad habit I started a long time ago. Perhaps I just like meeting the emissary to gloat. But you have provided something quite new to talk about. Maybe you're a random die roll. Or maybe the Unity is finally responding to all my hard work. Whoever created the artifacts and built those temples is playing a game with us. One whose prize is access to the center of all creation. There are no rules. Whoever gets all the pieces wins. And I've won. Over and over. I don't kill for the Unity. I find the easiest pathway to it.
Beleza, né? Então, aparentemente a gente não precisa decidir isso agora, mas a gente pode tomar um dos lados aí também, né? Ou não, pelo jeito.
Before you leave, I want to give you something. A way to another artifact, but also a lesson in how dangerous they can be. Seek the moon of old Earth. There are secrets there you must discover for yourself. Here. To open the way. Yes, I will say no more. That is all I ask. I hope you see what I have seen. You should also talk to your colleagues in Constellation. I am sure that they have gathered more information on the remaining artifacts in the fringes of space. Part of me wonders what they will all say about what you have learned. But I will leave that to you.
Beleza, né? De momento, então, a gente encerrou aqui, certo? Vamos embora. Liberamos ali também mais duas partes aí da história principal, né? No caso, a gente precisa ir para uma nova galáxia ali. E também voltar lá para nossa base, né? Primeiramente eu vou fazer a da base, que já é mais perto aqui pra gente, certo? Bora lá diretão, que aí a gente já pousa ali e continua.
Hey, I've been talking with the others, and I'd like to get everyone together. To say goodbye. You know, to Barrett. Thank you. It wouldn't be the same without you there. I'll have everything set up in a few days.
Mateo told us about your pilgrim's voyage.
You found it, didn't you? The meaning of unity. What? It can't be.
Our colleague is alive in some alternate dimension? Am I hearing this right?
Yes, I wouldn't mind a little more detail.
I don't even want to think about the physiological changes you'd need to travel between universes.
Plus what it would do to the mind? Enlightenment? Or oblivion? Like the Hunter.
You have the opportunity to reach the closest thing to your god that might exist. And you're second-guessing it?
One doesn't approach the afterlife without some trepidation. You're right. We have to see the unity for ourselves.
Not to make a sharp turn in a grand tale, but I got the eye fixed up. Bruised, but still blinking. Let me know when you're ready to follow up on what it's seen.
Beleza, pessoal, eu vim aqui pra cama pra esperar ali até o memorial, tá? Do Barrett. É uma despedida aí, mano, a ele, porra, mano. Que merda, velho, que merda, mano. Vamos lá.
Constellation has suffered losses
Constellation is no stranger
although
to loss.
none
Our
quite
own
so
founder left
violently.
on an expedition and never returned. It is easy to talk about the glory and excitement of breaching into the unknown, of lighting the darkness. But it is harder to stare into the face of the cost. That all of our progress is built on top of the lives of those who dared. And that we owe them the courage to continue our work in their memory.
Thank you, Sarah. If anyone else would like to say a few words. Thank you. If anyone else wants to say something. I hope this is all okay. Between fixing things up and sending out messengers and getting all the paperwork done. It's not much. Good. Good. Sorry, if I talk any longer, I'm gonna start crying. Could you excuse me?
I thought maybe I would come up with something to say, but I've got nothing. So, instead, I thought I would quote something that gave me comfort a long time ago. Is God real? The more proper question would be, is reality divine? Existence itself is a mystery which yearns to be uncovered. What is goodness but a comparison to the good? What is existence but a participation in being? For where the diversity of the universe inspires awe and wonder, it exists only in contrast to a simplicity so pure that it may only be understood as primordial and even divine. Our essence is what was imagined by its mind. But what we consider imagining and what we consider mind are in fact so far beyond our understanding that even these metaphors are like the tiny whitecaps on a massive searching sea. There's more, but those are the parts that speak to me the most. Thank you.
That was really thoughtful, Mateo. Thank you. Does anyone else want to say anything?
I don't often speak about what I believe in. It seems so redundant with how I live. But death is one of those occasions where it's hard not to look inward. Our friend is gone. There's no afterlife, or second meetings. No God in heaven that is curating a perfect ending for them. So it's up to us. We are what lives on. If the pain of loss inspires us to greater action, then that is the good that comes from humanity is what truly creates our world. We are the ones that judge things to be good or evil, joyful or mournful. Let us take responsibility for it. Let us remember what we have lost.
Walter, are you part of the House of Enlightenment? I never knew that.
Yes, well, I like to keep some things private. However, I know Barrett would have appreciated the sentiment. Chat for a bit? Normally, I hate talking to people at funerals, but, well. You don't believe in the afterlife, do you? I mean, this might be the worst time to bring it up, but... Somewhere deep down, I think we all wish it's not true. But part of us knows there's no going back. Even if there is something in the beyond, it's not here, is it? Well, I've taken up enough of your time.
Hey, how are you holding up? Take some time for yourself, okay? Plenty of rooms to sit down in if you need to be alone for a while. We'll get through this. It might feel like everything's falling apart, but that's why we need to stick together. Anytime. I have something I need to discuss with you.
I don't believe we've met. Ajay Mamasa, former chair of Constellation. I wish the circumstances of my visit were better. Unfortunately, this isn't the first Constellation funeral I've been to. After 35 years, you say goodbye to a lot of friends. I hope you don't mind me saying, but I feel numb just thinking about it. I was the one who invited Barrett to join. Oh, he was so brilliant. Even if the rest of us couldn't always keep up. Ah, yes. I officiated his wedding. Ah, young Irvin. I told him he was signing up for a lot with Barrett, but he didn't care. I bet relationships in Constellation are still messy, aren't they? We're more of a family than an organization. All the former lines bleed together. It makes the losses sting harder. But I hope it means the time you had together was all the more important. That's how I like to think of it, anyway. He never mentioned that. I suppose he didn't want to talk about it after what happened. The colony war took so much from us all. Exactly the same as when you met him, I bet. All smiles. Saying just the wrong thing at just the right time. You don't mentor someone like Barrett as much as you let him go and try to contain the damage later, eh? Oh, yes. I was Sebastian Banks's protege, if that gives you any idea of how long I was part of our little club. Knew him, argued with him, tried to carry on his memory when he vanished. Sebastian will be back tomorrow, we always used to say. It reminded us that he was still here, in the bones of this old building.
I will be monitoring everyone's vitals for signs of continued trauma. I am told these types of gatherings are a sad occasion. That assumption appears to be correct. I appreciate you verifying my analysis, although I am certain my thanks will do little to improve your current psychological trauma. If you would like, though, I can add some consoling language to my programming. Very well.
Hi. No. And don't keep asking. I'm not gonna be, alright? Everything's worse now. Is talking supposed to make us all feel better? Is that why we're all here? What's the point? It's not going to change anything. Every day is going to be worse now. Don't you get that? I want to be alone for a while, okay?
Everyone is in mourning. I understand, but I cannot quite share in their emotion. I have seen death. I have lost people I considered close. But this is... it is not the same. I cannot explain why. I am not sure I am making sense. Thank you.
Is it quieter in the lodge, or is it just me?
Could we talk?
Death is a bastard. Comes for us all. You know, there's an old Aquila story about two pioneers who got lost trying to find a new frontier to settle. One of them takes ill. Clear he's not gonna make it, he turns to his partner and says, "Don't bury me. Let the ground take what it's due. I'd rather be a ghost chasing after you than walk through the pearly gates knowing an eternity of loneliness until you get there." Sad story, huh? You look after yourself. I could really bend your ear when you got a moment.
Drink? Pour one out to the blackest sea? Two old friends. May their ghosts go past the edges of space, to the great beyond. Aye.
It almost feels wrong to be grieving. Selfish. No amount of tears will bring the dead back. It's just easier to feel guilty, if you'll excuse me.
We're all that lives on when someone dies. It's up to us.
It all feels so
to decide
senseless.
to remember them.
Something else?
Bom, aí eu tava procurando ali, né, mano, com quem que faltava pra gente encerrar. E é aqui no cavalete com a foto do Barrett, mano. Que merda, hein, mano. Bom. Encerrando o vídeo por aqui. No próximo aí a gente continua a história do Starfield. Valeu. Falou. E até a próxima.